Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending my presentation. I'm grateful for your time and patience. I'm grateful for many things. One of the things I'm most grateful for is the opportunity that America has to offer. My family came from nothing, and they immigrated from Cambodia to the United States. My mom would tell me stories of her escape and the tragedy of events that she witnessed. Knowing the pain and suffering that she went through made me realize that there wasn't really anything worth complaining about for me, at least for me, in my perspective. My name is Sgt Sung. I'll be giving a presentation on the killing field. Most of the information I'll be sharing with you today is from the killingfieldmuseum.com and one of the killing field survivor, my mother. Here's a brief overview of what I will be going over. The history of the killing field, the communist leader Pol Pot, year zero, ideals, and the end result and aftermath of the killing field. The killing field has taken place during the Vietnam era, Vietnam War, and the Khmer Rouge invaded Cambodia in April 17, 1975, and they took over until January of 1979. It was a group of communist guerrilla force led by the communist leader Pol Pot, and during his reign of terror, most of the Cambodian people was forced into agricultural labor, and some of them were also sent to the S-21 prison camp. This S-21 prison camp, about 20,000 people died over there. Only 7 known survivors until this day were identified. These pictures that you see here closely resemble what happened during the Holocaust also. Basically, once the prisoner arrives to the prison, a picture of them would be taken, and then they were tortured until they confessed to a crime that they did not commit. The communists believed that these prisoners were opposing their ideal of government and that they were a threat to the communism. This was because they were educated. And you might ask why educated people was killed. This was because of Pol Pot year zero ideals. He wanted to purify Cambodia of Western culture, foreign influences, capitalism, and any type of religious practice. He wanted to isolate Cambodia into an agrarian state where the whole country is self-sufficient by farming and by just farming and peasantry. Anyone who opposes this idea died. And the communist leader believed that educated people were the one that will be opposing this type of idea. So anyone that had any type of association with the government or any type of job in the administration field or part of the armed forces before, they were considered educated. Some people pretend that they cannot read and write in order to survive. My mom was one of them. She pretended that she couldn't read and write. She pretended to be ignorant and illiterate, and that's how she survived. What was the end result, and when did it end for the killing field? It was unbearable for the Cambodian people. About 2 million Cambodians died, and that's 30% of the whole population. Only until January 7, 1979, when the Vietnamese army invaded Cambodia to free the Cambodian people, is when the killing field ended. That was barely 30 years ago. Only about over 30 years ago. This so-called revolution by the communist leader Pol Pot is more of a massacre and genocide. Here's a brief summary of what we went over. The history of the killing field, the communist leader Pol Pot ideal of year zero, and the end result and aftermath of the killing field. Before I conclude this presentation, I want to leave you with words of my mother, a killing field survivor, who recalled the tragic event and tragedy that she witnessed. She told me in her native tongue, "I've seen all my brothers and sister killed before my eyes. I couldn't even shed a tear. Because if I did, I would be killed also." Just being associated with someone that was educated or related to them would get you killed. Thank you all. This concludes my presentation.